I'm the king of the world!
Hey everybody, the other month we saw Alita, Battle Angel. So Aidan, what's the plot of Alita, Battle Angel?
Alita Battle Angel is an adaptation of the manga Alita Battle Angel. It's an adaptation of the manga Alita Battle Angel, and it's about a robot girl who fights a big guy who's evil, and then she plays sports, and then she fights some other evil people, and yep, that's kind of the short version of it. Connor, what'd you think of Alita Battle Angel?
It was okay. I thought it was really fucking long, and I was kind of just waiting for it to be over. But, you know, it had its moments that were alright. I liked Alita, and I liked the Doctor as characters, but honestly, like, the boyfriend I found kind of annoying and just had a really punchable face, and I don't know, the villains were kind of half-baked. Like, you had, like, the Doctor's ex-wife who kind of did nothing and was boring. You had the fucking,
Blade.
fucking Blade, who just literally had no motivation except he was an evil guy. And he owned a thing and didn't want people getting to the Sky City, whatever the fuck that was called. Oasis or whatever.
I don't remember what it's called in the movie.
And then there was, like, the big dude that was evil, and they fought him. That was, like, his entire character. And so it kind of felt half-baked. Like, I didn't really know what I was rooting for. Like, Alita was a decent character, but everything else was pretty much just boring. I wasn't invested in it, so the movie felt really long. I remember looking at my phone about a half hour in and being like, wow, it felt like I was sitting there for 2 hours already. And I was like, well, looks like we got a long way to go from here. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't really, like, the effects kind of looked weird. I thought Alita looked kind of weird. Like, you get used to it eventually, but at first it's really jarring.
Yeah,
they did an okay job setting
up
up the world. Like, it looked nice. The effects looked nice in that way, but then there were a lot of the character designs and shit just looked like absolute garbage, so I don't know. I don't really have much to say about this movie. I thought it was kind of a miserable watch just because it could have afforded to be about an hour shorter, and the movie's only like 2 hours and 3 minutes long. But yeah. So Aidan, what did you think of Alita Battle Angel?
In the preparation for seeing this movie, I decided to read the manga, which I really enjoyed. I read all of it, including the stuff that happens way after this movie and the sequels. And I feel like that kind of ruined the movie for me a little bit, because the movie is more an adaptation of the anime, which most people consider pretty bad. And I don't think the movie's bad. It's certainly better than the anime, but you know, it's like, I don't know, it takes like a lot of the bad things the anime does and does them a little better, but it still doesn't really save it. The fights are pretty cool. The movie goes on a little long. And, I mean, honestly, I think this movie would have been a lot better if it was like a more direct adaptation of the manga, because the manga's really good and the movie's passable. The movie's got good action, but it's just like, it doesn't even come close to comparing. There's like so much stuff they changed, and they took out the backstories for the villains, and they just added a bunch of fluff. Like, I mean, a lot of the rearranging they did for the movie doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. Like, introducing Hugo, the boyfriend, so early just kind of like gets in the way of getting on with the movie. It like front ends all the boring shit for the start, and then like the last half is like nothing but action, and that kind of fucks up the pacing a little bit. And they made some definitely questionable decisions. Making Nova more evil is one, because Nova in the manga isn't really evil. He's just kind of like Spurg who runs around making monsters because it's his hobby, and like taking out the backstory from Mikaku kind of ruins him.
Who's Nova, the boyfriend?
No, Nova's the Edward Norton.
Fuck, yeah.
When Edward Norton appears for 4 seconds in this movie.
I remember that. That's pretty funny.
That shit's weird as fuck.
When I was like, that's Edward Norton.
And he's
like,
dressed like fucking Rick from Rick and Morty.
He looks like Rick from Rick and Morty, and it barely looked like at first it was hard to see. Like, I saw the bottom of his mouth. I'm like, holy shit, it's Ed Norton. And then it actually was Ed Norton. And Aiden's like, how the fuck did you know that? I'm like...
Yeah, that shit's wacky.
Like, I just guessed, I guess. I don't know.
But also, they clearly plan on making sequels since they didn't introduce Edward fucking Norton until the last 10 seconds of the movie. But at the same time, they, like, made changes that kind of make the sequels really hard to do. Because, like, Vector, or Blade... he becomes very important later on, so killing him might kind of make the whole adaptation thing a little trickier. And I don't want to just go on and on about the manga, but it's like, I definitely recommend the manga, and I think I'm probably going to do a review of it sometime. Maybe when this comes out on DVD, I'll talk more in depth about it. But the movie itself is decent and certainly better than most of what's in theaters now. And if you like action, you're probably going to enjoy it. But, I mean, it's like... it's okay. It's okay. And I think they might have made a little misstep making sequel bait, because I don't think it's going to happen, Jimmy. I'm sorry, Jimmy Cameron. I don't think the sequel's going to happen. You shouldn't have wasted all that money on Edward Norton because you're never going to get to utilize him. I can't imagine Edward Norton was cheap because he's a fucking asshole.
He probably had a contract bonus or something and then made like dick for doing this movie, but
yeah, I'm
they
surprised
probably signed him on for like 2 movies or some shit, and then
I'm surprised Edward Norton wanted to be in the Chinese comic book movie, but he might just like, I mean, he works goodish, not great, but goodish with people he likes, and he might just like Jimmy Cameron, I guess, but
you probably saw like James Cameron and a fat fucking check coming his way, and he's like, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, overall, it's like, it probably just should have, the pacing...
If there is a sequel, they'll probably replace it with Mark Ruffalo. Or just a black guy or something.
The pacing definitely could have been better. And that's my major complaint, because I think a lot of the stuff that's there is actually pretty well put together, from the action to the world and script mostly. So Connor, would you recommend Alita Battle Angel?
This is one of the hardest decisions I've had to make.
Also, keep in mind it's not in theaters anymore
on this channel. I'd say no, honestly. Like I said, it was kind of a hard watch. Like, it was an okay movie, but I just thought it was a hard watch. It's probably never gonna get sequels, so the story will never fully be resolved. And honestly, like, the climax of this movie was so half baked that it's like, maybe in the sense of like a trilogy or like a 2-movie arc, it would work better. But
I think this shit would need to be an HBO series, because there's a lot of shit they skipped over, and they still covered a lot
for
of
a
shit.
faithful adaptation of the movie. But they crammed a lot of shit in one movie, and it felt like they set up a bunch of shit. Like, it was a rounded movie, like everything happened in this movie, but it felt so unresolved. It's like saying Infinity War is a finished movie.
Yeah, it's half a movie.
Like, when people are like, Infinity War is a great movie, it's like, yeah, no, it's a long half movie or like part of a movie. It'd be like me recommending a series of unfortunate events, knowing full well that the sequel never happened, you know?
Yeah.
So I'd have to say no, unfortunately. Honestly. Like, it's okay, but no.
I'm probably gonna give it a yes. I think it's just like a halfway decent action movie. More so than the movie, I'd recommend reading the manga, because I mean, pirating manga is absurdly easy, and it's really not that long. There's like, even if you don't read the sequels, it's like 50 chapters. You can read it in like a fucking weekend. I did. Movie, I mean, it's not in theaters anymore, so when it comes to like Blu-ray or inevitably hits like fucking Hulu or something, I'd probably watch it, because it's like, It's decent. It's whatever. It's got explosions and robots punching each other, so that's kind of like what people like, you know. Bye.